Take the ducks, move them in the pond is really the answer for the antidote of questioning, which could be very punctuated at this point in time. Going on for the week of November 30th is a full moon in Gemini, which really illuminates all of our sibling relationships, all of our close-knit community relationships, and how they are really working out for us or not working out for us. That needs to be really taken into consideration because let's start talking about the astrology of November 30th, which is Sunday. We're starting off the week nice and strong with a beautiful aspect. Venus, the lower octave of love, Neptune, the higher octave of love, um, are in a beautiful, harmonious relationship to each other. They're in a trine to each other. And what this means, if Venus is in a trine to Neptune, is that anything creative that we could possibly think of doing, whatever it is, it's a great time to pull out the colored pencils or pull out the sheets of music or, the clay or the Play-Doh, whatever you use to be creative, and use that creative gift. Really take advantage of this energy and be creative using this energy for your best benefit. This is not so much about being Avalon Bike Rack, 2009, Left Brain, Money Man, um, you know, that kind of thing. This is more about being right-brained, creative, artistic, intuitive, channeling creativity from higher realms down to the physical plane. Now, another part of this is we are feeling really selfless at this time, really compassionate towards others, and it's good to serve people in spiritual ways because Neptune rules Pisces. And Pisces is along the Virgo Pisces axis. It's the axis of service. And so Virgo, if it's practical service, like I'm giving you advice of what supplements you need to take, or what lotions you need to buy, or what toothpaste you need to take to brush your teeth, or healing your wounds, whatever practical way of service that is defined by a Virgo. The opposite side of that is being a therapist, for instance, where you are sitting with somebody and you're connecting and you're offering wisdom and you're offering your insights and really listening to what they're talking about in a way that is holding space for them, holding space for love, and being of spiritual service. So it's good for any kind of spiritual service that you can get your noggin put on. What this time is also really interesting for is tenderness. You're feeling more tender, you're feeling more loving. This is great to make your surroundings more beautiful, glam up your surroundings. As you can see, I have decorated my surroundings out very, very well and efficiently with pictures of oracle cards that I hung up on my wall. And so that is how I created my beautiful surroundings. How are you going to create your beautiful surroundings in your life? Now, you may feel really, really selfless at this time. You may feel a very, very strong urge to nurture others and put others first. And this is great only when you have enough energy to give. Because if somebody needs 20% of your battery and you only have 10% left in there, how are you going to give the 20%? You need to recharge your batteries, replenish your energy, take care of yourself, put yourself first. Which putting yourself first and selfish are very different terms. They're very, very different. Putting yourself first is not selfish if it does not hurt the others in your relationship. It will benefit others if you take care of yourself and if you give, enough energy so that you can give to others. So that's the whole point of what I'm trying to say here. So, um, It's very important if somebody is draining your energy and expecting so much of you to set healthy boundaries to say, no, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to be true to myself. I'm going to not give in to this. And that is easy to say for the empowering bit of it. For the person who wants the thing, it may be very, very difficult for them to accept. But it is essential that they do accept that people need to take care of themselves first. And this is the way that life must go. Is no one can be perfectly people pleasing and yes and giving everyone all that they want all the time. There is an element here of having to put yourself first when it comes to not giving into every little demand that everyone has and setting healthy boundaries to say no. I'm not going to enable you, or I'm not going to let you manipulate me, or whatever it is. So any relationship could be more spiritually related, be more soulfully related. That could be a really, really huge piece of this. Um, it's very important that you are grounded and you're very discerning about what kind of relationships that you allow into your life, or what kind of things you choose to put your energy and mental time into. So be grounded. If you're feeling scattered or ungrounded or whatever it is, um, do things to help ground you and be discerning of what does and does not serve your energy. You want to build more authentic and balanced connections that are serving you for your highest good. You want to develop deeper self-awareness and compassion for yourself, really. Um, Developing forgiveness. I did all these things, and the only way that I know not to do these things is by doing them. That's how we learn, is through living and learning. We don't know the wrong thing to do until we do the wrong thing and then we feel guilty for it afterwards, and we end up regretting it. I could give you many examples. The most recent example is trying to perfect something. Because I did a spread um, using my Oracle cards, but I was very tuned in to my mental state while doing it. And I thought that I overthought doing the spread, or the card that I pulled in that spread, or a card I pulled. So I ended up doing it again, thinking that I would feel better for redoing it, but then I ended up feeling guilty. And of course, a lot of resolutions had to be made until I can't go back and change what I have done, but I can learn from it and say, it is meant to be imperfect. I am meant to overthink something so that I can know not to overthink and to stop perfecting it. And part of the process of learning is learning not to perfect something. So that's what I was feeling really called to do. And that was what the best that I could do at the time with how wise I was at the time, which is like a week ago, probably. But I have learned that when I try to perfect something, I feel guilty about it. It's either once and it is what it is, or you do it over and over again until you get it absolutely perfect. That's how I've been functioning since 2021, 2022, perhaps. Anyway, moving on. So being very, very self-aware of what serves you and what doesn't serve you, and being compassionate with yourself. Now, that's not the only thing going on this week. On the same day as this aspect, on November 30th, Venus moves into Sagittarius, and it's going to be in Sagittarius until Christmas Eve, which is December 24th. And so Venus will be in Sag, which will shine a light upon what gives us joy, what gives us pleasure, doing, indulge in life, live big, take the most advantage of the moment. Sagittarius says, you only have one lifetime. It's sacred, so make it count. Life is, life is too short to carry on with business and to be very depressed and to be very, Sagittarius says lighten up, look at the higher picture, do what brings you joy. Um, it comes after Scorpio, which is very deep and very dark and down in the dumps, very, you hit rock bottom, but then Sagittarius is very uplifting. It's like, um, why go so deep? Instead, do what gives you joy. So go on adventures, because Sagittarius is very much about adventures. Um, you want to find honesty and directness. Being very honest, being very straightforward with the people in your life is very important during this transit to be blunt with them in a kind way. Um, you want to feel more optimistic. You may be feeling more hopeful at this time. There may be a deep need to connect with others and form bonds with them. So during this transit, during these days of Venus and Sagittarius, um, there is a deep need to form very higher level connections with others. You may confront and come face to face with the truth of who you are, not the masks that you put on, not the part of you that hides yourself and presents yourself to the world, but no, who you really who you really are behind all the cover-ups, behind all the filters. Who are you really? Now, it's also very important to not hold yourself back from achieving your goals, from manifesting your dreams, from reaching success. Sagittarius is about collective love, universal love for the collective and all of humanity. And so is Aquarius, my Neptune, which is compassion for all, the oneness of all that is. My Neptune falls in Aquarius. I was born during the Neptune and Aquarius generation. And so it's very much more about a mental, wanting to serve humanity because of my new visions that I have for humanity. Um, and so that's kind of the theme for the generation of people that were born with Neptune and Aquarius. Um, and you can have romantic adventures. And you can also be very blunt, be very truthful, not cover things up, not mince words. You can really have a lot of truth and higher meaning in relationships because Venus is all about relationships. You can be very idealistic in your relationships, very hot in your ideas of things and the people in your life. And so you want to be with people, you want to be with partners, who support, your dreams, goals, needs for freedom, and visions for your life. Um, Enjoy the pleasures of life, engage in art, cultural interests, special interests. This may be a good transit also for traveling and for learning, from expanding your horizons. Now, December 2nd, which is Tuesday, December 2nd, Venus will sextile Pluto. So Venus is now at 1 degree of Sagittarius. Pluto is at 1 degree of Aquarius. And so these two planets are sextile each other. So with Venus sextile Pluto, you can feel more passionate about love and the things that you love. That's the big here because Pluto is passion, what you're passionate about, what you're deeply, um, what gets your juices going. You may be attached to a person or a possession or anything else that you value. That attachment may be a very, very strong theme on this particular day. You may be determined to experience companionship. You may want to have a companionship with others, experiencing affection, being affectionate, loving on a more profound level. The relationships that already exist in your life can evolve to something more spiritual, can be more spiritually based relationships. You may want to have relationships on a more emotional level, connect with others more deeply emotionally. You want to discover your feelings and others' true feelings. You want to experience companionship and love more on an intense and profound level. This is that kind of love that is centered around this time. You may feel more passionate about love and the people and things that you care about and value. You may become attuned, attached to a person, possession, or anything else that you value. There may be an intense need for connection and belonging here. And allow your feelings a seat at the table. Acknowledge your feelings. Let them be present in your life. Feel them, move through them. Accept them. You want to delve into your desires and fears. You want to be open about your feelings, not bottling things up. You want to address any unresolved issues in relationships. So if there's any issue that is just you push under the rug and it's not resolved, this is the time to resolve it. Especially with Pluto really piercing truth into the digging below the surface of things to find what is at the root core of the truth is what actually going on. Um, it's a Uranus exalted in Scorpio kind of thing. But so anyway, you want to cultivate compassion and empathy. That's what you want to really have as your center point for this energy. December 4th, the sun is square. So what is going on is a T-square between the sun and Sagittarius at 13 degrees, the moon in Gemini at 13 degrees, both coming up to a square, a mutable grand cross, squaring the North Node in Pisces at 13 degrees and the South Node at Virgo at 13 degrees. So this is a mutable grand cross. Mutable energy is very changeable, very adaptable. It is like the end of seasons. Things are changing from the beginning of Pisces season or Gemini season or Virgo or Sag season, the beginning of it. It's very, very different than the end of it. They're changes. They like the branches of a tree, they bend with the wind. They dance with destiny. So, um, they kind of go along for the ride, so to speak. So let's start talking about the Sun square the North Node. The Sun square the North Node can really put an emphasis upon healthy sacrifices. What are the sacrifices that are not debilitating and at detriment to you? But what are the healthy sacrifices that you can implement in your life? If you're pushing, pushing, pushing for something to happen, you're really pushing it, you're pushing the car, you're pushing a project or a goal, whatever, then relax your mind, relax your ego, allow your soul and your intuition to guide you in making the next step to achieve your goals. Stay patient and trust the universe. There may be opportunities that bring you into alignment with your purpose and mission in life. It's good to have meetings with others that will put you in the right direction. So find people that are supportive of you, that are beneficial to you, that can really put you on the right path to achieving your destiny. Take steps that will help you get closer to your goals in this lifetime. Find the way to the best possible outcome. There's a chance here to shine and inspire optimism in others. Now, The full moon in Gemini comes around every single year. There's the full moon in Gemini, and the full moon falls on December 4th this year. And so, the full moon in Gemini, what is Gemini but the lower mind? It falls along the Gemini Sag axis of learning, of the mind. And so this is full moons are culminations and closures of all the lessons that you learned over the past year, being at the last full moon of the year. You want to take your insights, the conversations, the things that you've learned, and the stories that you tell yourself, and get meaning from them and in the ones that don't serve you. Letting it all unfold is very important. You may have a lot of wisdom that you will carry forward in your life. Speaking about it and listening to it is very important. Um, Gemini is very much about thinking logically through things. It's about, the mind communication, but it can also be your sense of logic. It's, it's kind of, I want to say, its sister sign, um, Virgo, which is also ruled by Mercury, deals a lot with logic. So Gemini and Virgo, even though they're squaring each other, can be incredibly compatible signs. Sagittarius wants broadening your perspective, expanding your horizons. Gemini is comfortable in its community, in its neighborhood, in its environment. Sagittarius is about long distance travel, wants to go beyond the immediate environment. It wants to travel to foreign lands, to new cultures, to engage with different people from diverse backgrounds. Trying new foods, going and learning about ancient history, these kind of things. Um, Communication and adventure is really big here. Full moons are times of completion and closure, as I've talked about before. And this time, you may be acting out of impulse, just making really, really quick decisions and actions out of the blue. It happens fast, it's very immediate. It's very sudden, it's very jolting. And so you want to think about what you do before you do it, especially now. It's the Gemini energy of thinking things through. So, the moon is going to square the North Node. So remember, we have the sun in Sag square the North Node in Pisces, the moon is going to also square both the South and the North Node in Pisces and Virgo. So with the moon square the North Node in Pisces, we may be not exactly sure about what our goals are, what our priorities are, what our journey is, what our destiny is. We may be very unsure about which direction that we're going down. This is very important to discern internal cues, which are either impulses or insecurities, versus what your intuition and your soul is trying to nudge you or whisper you towards. You may fall prey to others instead of being responsible for carving out and moving on your own path towards your purpose in this lifetime. It can even be as big as that. On another note, the moon has to do with your mother and the nurturing quality of females, and so you may have a difficult relationship with your mother if you're close to your mother, or if your mother is still alive in your life. There may be this relationship may be more important. There may be more of a microscope focused in on that relationship. There may be some challenges in that relationship. There may be a strain on the relationship. You may have trouble expressing your more sensitive side. Um, and there's this feeling of like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. I have to do everything on my own. No one's there to help me. I have to be the responsible one. I have to have the backbone and I have to be the backbone or whatever it is. But you have a leg up. There is support around you. And if you could only open up to receive that support, then life is going to be so much better for you. When you do what you can and then surrender the rest and invite support in so that that weight is carried off your shoulders. You can actually enjoy the rainbow at the top of the cliff and throw that burden over the falls. And so this is about strengthening and balancing your emotions, and you may feel lonely, negative. That's kind of a downside to feeling very negative and low at this time. Very, feeling lack of hope. It's very Saturn and Pisces is feeling hopeless. The summer of last year of 2024, especially August, late July, I was feeling incredibly, incredibly helpless, incredibly depressed. And I have done the work to sort of get over that and get over what I was depressed about. So, um, now, um, December 6th, on Saturday, December 6th, the aspect going on today is Mercury in Scorpio at 24 to 25 degrees, trine Jupiter in Cancer at 24 to 25 degrees. It's gonna trine. It's a trine. Mercury is trine Jupiter. The trines of aspects are very harmony. There's an easy energy. There's just a positive flow. There's a yumminess to trines. So this brings about optimism and good news. We have the lower mind Mercury with the higher mind Jupiter. Optimism and good news. This is great for research, study, socializing. All these things are very good to do at this time. You may make plans because of your good instincts. You may have very, very good instincts when it comes to the plans I want to make for the future on this day, making positive plans with a future-oriented mindset. This is great for if you're going on trips, long distance travel, or expanding your horizons in any way, shape, or form. This is great energy for that. Um, Sign contracts. Now you can do this because Mercury is now moving direct through its post-retrograde shadow time. It's still direct. Um, there may be good news with high energy at this time. News that raises your vibration, lifts you up. You want to expand your horizons and get outside of the box. Um, that's important. It's good energy for applying for jobs, submitting articles or books, publishing them. All that is favored very, very nicely. So now we're going to move into another realm of this video, which is the Oracle section. Okay. So I'm going to be using the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron-Reid. See what the collective needs to know for this week. I'm going to pull one card. My question is, what does the collective need to know for the week of November 30th, 2025? Let's see what the cards have to say. And we have the Desert Prince in reverse. So survival thoughts promises. So you may feel very, very deep in a desert of dryness. There's just not a lot of hope. There's not no wastes to it. There's not water to it. Um, And that's how it really might end up feeling for you that we're in a state of being very down about, very stagnated, very in limbo about the state of our lives, so to speak. And when you're in the desert, picture, you're thirsty, you're exhausted, and then you see a mirage. You see what looks like water, looks like a ice cream truck or whatever, but it's not because your mind goes on a vacation, your mind plays tricks on you. So this is a warning. This card, the Desert Prince, survival force, false promises and protection, in the reverse position is a warning to not get so caught up in the illusion in the mirage of something because see it objectively, see it with clarity, because if it is too good to be true, then it is. So just know that. So see things from an objective point of view, see things for what they really are, not what they seem to be. That is a message from this card. And be very discerning. I had the card, I just don't know where. There it is. Be very discerning about who you let into your life when it comes to them saying certain things to you or promising these things because it may be not real. It may be that they say something that they're not going to deliver on, so you may get deceived, you may get fooled. So be very, very discerning and have your antenna up, and have your blinkers on, or anyone who tries to deceive you with a mirage. So getting caught up in the illusions of things, getting caught up in things what they seem to be, as opposed to digging deep and finding that there's actually a dragon underneath the gold, um, and finding what's really going on below the surface. So this card invites you to be suspicious, if you will. So that is your message for this week of November 30th to the beginning of December. We're moving into December, we're moving into new month. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it beneficial to you in your spiritual journey. And if you did, please utilize the features under this video, which includes the like button and the subscribe button, so that it helps me put the video out into the algorithm so that more individuals can find this content that would enjoy this as well. You can look forward to my next video, which will be all about Mars, the planet Mars, in the zodiac sign of Taurus in the birth chart, which is very different from the last video I made about Mars and Aries. This video has a very, very different feel to it. It's much more about moving slowly and steadily, and that wins the race. It's going to be a really, really huge part in Mars and Taurus. I'm going to discuss it when we get there. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.